That's the intro.
That was great. Good job. Rachel, do you want to give it a try?
No,
Okay.
we've seen me do that before. It doesn't go well. What did you say was long? Was the intro long? Is that what you said?
No, the verse.
Because I was like, it's 2 verses.
I know. That was the joke.
Oh, okay.
It's a long passage.
Super duper long. I like it.
Do you think, are there other things that we're talking about permissible but not necessarily beneficial? It's kind of like the core, the foundational of it, under it. And there's this list of 25 things that put together of things that are not illegal, but maybe you shouldn't do.
Maybe aren't helpful.
Well, like, I don't feel like I am so far from having like a news downfall. Like some people are just so addicted to the news, and I feel like
Yeah, like
I might be on the
background.
other end. I feel like I have gone, even in the last 2 or 3 years, I've just gone like, maybe because it's venues of watching it are less, but I just don't.
Yeah.
I just don't.
The only news I ever see and not hear is if I'm at the gym and it's on.
Huh.
That's it.
I always think of the airport. The airport always has news.
Do they have news on it?
Video.
Gym? Like audio?
Oh,
Oh,
I said see but not hear.
Oh, okay.
see, but not
Do
hear.
gyms have screens still?
Well, I
Planet
think going
Fitness
to
does.
One that's on this list that I feel like I don't even know why it's on there, but eating dessert every day. That shouldn't be a problem.
That's fine. I did last
I think
time.
eating dessert. It should be eating dessert after every meal.
Yeah, that's not good, but
Also, is it a meal if it isn't dessert? Doesn't have dessert?
it's
Wow.
a full meal.
How many courses do you need?
Yeah.
This is not a meal. I'm sorry. I only had one course.
Yes.
I feel like summer. So last night I had a late meeting and I got done around like 8:30. And
Did it end with dessert?
it did. I left and I didn't have dinner, but it's so warm. I'm like, I don't really want dinner, so I got a twist cone, and I was like, yeah, that's all I want. So I did have a
find
twist cone for
issue with
dinner.
some of these.
Really? Let's
That
hear.
you
Which
shouldn't
ones?
have every day.
Well, it's not even with some of them. I think that permissible but not beneficial with some of these is subjective.
Yeah, well, like where? Which ones?
Texting instead of calling. I think there are people who
That's very beneficial.
calling is the worst thing in the world. Getting a call is the worst thing in the world.
So,
But a text is like, oh great, I got a text from this person.
Please don't call me. I think somebody died when you call me.
Like great.
That's not good. I like.
Man, if I
Also,
if I
eating
could-
lunch alone, that's like the best thing ever.
Oh, dude,
what are we
there
talking
are
about?
whole restaurants in Japan dedicated to that.
Oh,
well, this list is good then.
I
Because-
I thought sleeping in on the weekends. I don't sleep in on the weekends, but my husband
I
does,
think
and like
it's subjective.
he needs that. Like
see,
he,
I'm on
he
the other side.
catches
I
up.
think it's bad.
You think it's
I
terrible?
think sleeping in is always bad.
Always bad. Yeah, I think sometimes you need to catch up.
Wearing earbuds everywhere you go.
Oh, yesterday I was in Whole
That drives
Foods
me crazy.
and I
You
had
can
to
do it.
return something, and then I was
No.
getting something before going to Connection Group, and this lady bumped into me twice, and she had headphones on, and I almost pushed her into the meat. I was so
I do think
First was her cart, and second was her body. I was like, stop.
Pay attention
You
to
got
what you're
body
doing.
checked by a headphone lady?
the
It's not good.
noise canceling headphones
That's big and
while
full.
biking or
Oh, because then
biking
she
or
couldn't
walking.
even see. Like it was hurting
Yeah,
her
they're big
peripheral
ones.
vision.
They're
I just
Ugh.
sometime in the last week, it's rented scooters
Uh-huh.
are their own subculture,
Mhm.
but rented scooter
You hate
person,
those things.
rented
I do
scooter,
They stress
who
me out.
is whips off of a sidewalk with noise canceling headphones, and so it doesn't even look,
Mhm.
almost smashes into you, and then when you try to pass them, you say, "Hey, on your left," and
And they
they're just
can't
like
hear you.
nothing,
Uh-huh.
and so that's I mean,
Oh.
I started doing what
Grace
you do.
decides to pass.
Railing people.
you
'Cause that's what
rub
Scott
their
does.
shoulder, rub them.
when I one wheel and people are walking in the new bike lanes that are separated.
Yeah.
People are walking in them all the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I get as close as I can. I just go, hey, or bike lane. They know I did.
No, that
But
would
I
make
think
me
it's
jump
funny.
out
I
of my
want something
skin.
that is permissible but not beneficial. Walking the bike lane.
Oh,
It's not
that is-
permissible.
Not permissible.
It's permissible for
No.
people doing it.
It's not.
It's not.
Don't do it.
I don't want people to do it, but I'm saying
It's not permissible.
Against the
If-
rules.
if texting instead of calling is permissible but not beneficial, walking in the bike lane is permissible but not beneficial.
No.
Will you get a
But
ticket?
can't these
Can you get
things?
pulled over
Would
for
you?
it? Is
Wouldn't
it
you agree
jaywalking?
that?
Is it legal?
Hmm?
I don't know.
You can get pulled over texting instead of calling.
No,
I
are we
wish.
walking
Or
in the bike
calling
lane?
instead of texting. I wish.
I want to turn off the phone on my phone.
What?
You can.
I want to fully turn off the ability to accept phone calls.
You can.
Oh, you're done.
You can put your phone into do not disturb mode.
I don't. I
With
want
that,
I want
for
other
just
notifications.
calls.
You can set it so the only thing that gets do not disturb is your phone.
That's what I want.
I
Is
have
there-
to practice calling people. Like I have, and I also have to do
Rehearse?
it in the car. No, not rehearse. But like I have to make an effort to like make a phone call once in a while because I do
Oh.
get in a mode where I'm like I hate calling people, and sometimes I have to like multitask and call people, like drive and then
That's two
talk.
things on this list.
I know. Well, I'm not like driving and talking, but like over the speaker thing. But yeah. Anyways,
So
I feel like I have to mentally. Okay, like I
you
can make a phone
you have
call.
some phone anxiety.
I do. Like I have to like before I
Like, do you
call
feel phone
somebody,
anxiety
I
when
go,
you like ordering calling a restaurant or?
Oh, I
order-
hate that more.
Why can't I just book it online? Why do I have to call a
Yeah.
restaurant? What are we talking about
Because
here?
it's noisy, and then they can't hear,
The
and then the whole thing.
Phone calls
that's-
should never
that's
be
worse.
invented.
That's worse.
Yeah.
It's been a fun transition though to like watch places like if you call a pizza place right now, the odds of them having the pizza wrong versus going to their website are so much higher.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. It happened a lot back in the day in the coffee shop. With people would call and try to put in an order,
Yeah.
and I got to a point where I'm like, we have online ordering. Just put it in. Like,
Yeah.
you're literally slowing everything down to answer the phone.
Yeah. There you
Yeah,
go.
that's why Starbucks
The
has
phone.
headsets.
None of us like it.
I don't
So,
know.
but can we? With all of these things, I think this is true with everything. That's a strong word, but with a lot of things, though, can be. You can push something too far to an extreme.
For sure.
Yes, there are moments where you should make the phone call.
Craig's like, I'm not happy about it, but sure.
Yes, somebody died.
Yes.
And in those moments, the
Somebody
phone
died.
call is beneficial.
Oh man.
In those moments.
Well, today, in this conversation in Matthew, so Jesus is in the middle of he's in this, you've heard it said, litany. And it's pushing, he talks about murder. He says, hey, everybody, we're all on the same page on murder, right? Shouldn't do
Right.
it. Well, I'm telling you, not only not murder, but don't be angry or
Yeah.
call curses or it's going from this external act of murdering to this internal act of what's happening inside of you. So
Yeah.
internal is the focus. Then he says, you've heard it said, aren't we all on the same page on adultery? Yes, adultery, not a good thing. Well, I'm telling you again, push to the internal. If you lust after or have coveting, and we talked about this last week, it isn't just a spousal or a lust thing. It truly is this coveting thing. But again, the focus is towards the internal.
Mm-hmm.
And then Jesus, it's this different, it feels like a different context, but the same heart in it is pushing towards the internal. So we have this is that Jesus says, you shouldn't divorce your spouse with no reason. And again, the push is towards the internal, because here is a moment where people are using what is allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Divorce is allowed, but are using it to this extreme where it is become
Yeah.
for no cause, no purpose, and really the thing that is found here contextually is that it is marginalizing, specifically marginalizing these women, and so the transferable thing in this is that while I want to tread this with cultural intentionality, I think the cultural state of women during Jesus's time is that their ability to be marginalized was available at a different level. that fair to say?
Yeah. Well, and I think too, like, just to go back just a second, there was a debate happening where one side said, like, the only reason you could ever divorce is sexual immorality. And the other side is like, you could divorce your wife for a burnt meal,
Yeah.
like something that they thought was disgusting. And what would happen to a woman, and like, just what would happen in this moment if a woman was divorced was like, they didn't have power. So if they were left, they either had to move back home with their own family or get remarried.
Mhm.
And like, being remarried in this, like, in the NIV version, it says it makes her a victim of adultery.
Mm.
And so it's like, this is something done to her and
Yeah.
done. And so it's like the women didn't have power. And then if they burnt a meal or did something that like the husband thought was indecent and frustrating or made them mad, they could just dispose of them.
Yep.
And so they just, in this scripture, and I think over and over again in the Beatitudes and in what Jesus is saying, there's so many moments where we see people being disposable, being replaceable. And I think these women were being treated as replaceable and not really even cared for, in the sense that, like, what was the consequences to treating their wives this way?
Mhm.
Like, Jesus is calling them to this covenant love. And it's, if marriage is supposed to look like your relationship with God, and it's supposed to be this covenant relationship, which, I mean, it's just this earthly, it can be viewed as like what you see with your relationship with God. And then you just dispose of that so quickly. There's no faithfulness, there's no loyalty, there's no care for what is done to that woman when they're disregarded and when they're replaced. It's just a very, I don't know, it's a very painful view of people.
Yeah. And again, pushing this back to Jesus's theme to the internal is that when you're in a place of power and authority, you can do what you have right to do, and your rights can become really inflated when you're in a place of power and authority. And his declaration is, listen, if you use your power and authority to marginalize people, you're not focused on commitment, and also, again, the value of people. You're missing it. And I love it, Greg. You put together, and I expanded on some more, but these on the theme of people that were marginalized and Jesus or God's relationship with people that are marginalized. There's a theme of women being again stuck up for, and this is not, again, I feel like we have to overstate it. God is not saying that women are helpless.
No,
this was the cultural context. And so the thing that is really important for us today is to think of what is our cultural context of who is marginalized. And it has changed. But the thing that hasn't changed is that God gives these great examples of how we as people and how he as God interacts with the marginalized, or those that are in danger or on the aptitude is high of being marginalized. And these are profound stories. And I love, just again, Jesus is such a great example of his, with the woman at the well. Again, somebody who is had multiple spouses and is fending for themselves, is feeling there's, again, cultural context in this, even with the Samaritans here, that she's coming to the well because she's not welcome when everybody else is there. And Jesus interacts. It's really like, who's interacting with somebody who's trying to avoid being interacted is probably somebody else who's got some challenges and being interacted with. And so it's kind of a beautiful moment of Jesus meeting her in humility himself. And the woman caught in the act of adultery, Jesus being, again, it would have been so easy, just like, why are you involving me in this? You guys do what you want to do. And Jesus standing up, defending her is really incredible. And what has to happen internally in order for you to not marginalize and also to defend the marginalized is the incredible call to action.
I think that just like these stories of the women, like just thinking about, again, the cultural context, like I think growing up, you read these stories and you just see Jesus's compassion, which is evident. But I also think there's like these, like with the woman at the well, like she's been married 5 times. like either she was widowed or discarded 5 times. Like
Yeah.
she didn't have the power to divorce a spouse.
Yep.
So like this is somebody that, like, when I think about that, like when I think, I mean, first of all, like I didn't even, like, before studying this past week, I didn't even think about the fact that she could have been widowed multiple times and just like going through that multiple times, but then also being discarded multiple times, like just that, like both of those pain points, and then being an outsider and unwelcome and like being punished for some things that have been done to her. And I don't know, it's just such a painful moment. And it makes me just think, like, when I think about people that may not fit in, I don't know if that's the right word, but are seen as outsiders, and like how Jesus cares for them, like how do we shift our mindset now? Like how do we, as the church, how do we do that better? How do we care for people that are outsiders or feel like they're outsiders better? How are we intentional in this? Like, it just is really, I don't know if it messes with me, but it makes me go, well, it kind of does, but in the sense of like, how can I be more intentional? How do I make sure people are seen that usually aren't, you know?
Well, I think a question that we're going to ask is, how do people rationalize marginalizing someone? Which is a fun question, but I really feel like in this moment where Jesus is confronting this thoughtless divorce and the marginalizing of these women, I feel like that is the question, as Jesus is looking at these people, is, could you tell me a little bit about your rationalization of abandonment, of marginalizing, of taking advantage of being so uncaring?
Yeah.
And I think people are very rational. People have, I think very rarely do people do things without a reason. And I just think that, I don't know, how do people rationalize marginalizing someone else? I feel like it's so sneaky.
It is sneaky. Like, I think there's things we don't see. Like, you may not even realize you're marginalizing someone in like things that you do. And
I was thinking that's number one, is that, I didn't even know.
I didn't even know.
Yeah.
You know, which is hard for me to, like, when I read these stories, it's still hard for me to think that maybe the husbands didn't know, but I think they don't, like, there was just, how did they view their wives? Like, how did, like, they talk about viewing wives and children as property. And so that feels really, I don't know, it feels really hard when it's like in your face and you marginalize somebody. Like, this is somebody that you're married to, and maybe marriage looks different, but still, like, this is somebody that you were meant to care for. How do you rationalize that? I just don't know.
I think two, like, I think number 2 on the list of reasons why is like, well, you know, you kind of get what you deserve.
Yeah.
And that is like what Jesus' call for internal change is at the moment when internal change, when you go unaware. But number 2, to go, you know, not my fault that you did A, B, and C, and now you get, whether it comes from me or other people, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know. You look like you had thoughts, Greg. I don't know if you do. But
yeah, I think this is a good conversation. I also think one of the missing aspects is that the marriage is imagery of covenant between God and people, and so the flippant dismissal of a marriage covenant, God is saying, hey, you're so that covenant doesn't mean much to you, by emphasis of you're allowed to do this, but should you? It's the same thing. We see the story over and over in Israel. The Israelites, those moments we go, those dummies. It's also moments where we probably would be doing the same thing, and we're treating covenant with God and humanity as less than or not important. And so, yes, I think the impact of not valuing covenant properly can be marginalizing people. I think actually the bigger issue is that it's our lack of being able to commit to something even when we don't want to, or things are hard. So I think it's overall a commitment issue. I think marginalization is a can be an outcome of that commitment issue.
Yeah.
But I think God's going, hey, you can't even commit to your wife. How? Why do I think you can commit to me?
Yeah.
What the heck? What's going on?
Yeah, like sometimes, like when I was reading some of the things, they kept talking about loyalty and I like the word faithfulness a little better, but like the word loyalty was used a lot, just in studying the like what God's calling to, and like I have a hard time with loyalty only in the sense that like sometimes I think we can be overly loyal to something maybe we should have walked away from, and so like I think sometimes I have a hard time with that word, but the word like faithfulness and being faithful and committed and loyal even when it's difficult is I don't know, I think that's really important but also complicated.
Yeah, I just it's it's always so complicated when real stories are involved.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, I feel like it's hard to fault somebody for being overly loyal
Yeah.
versus it's way easier to fault somebody who is never loyal
Yeah.
to anything.
But I think it goes.
And I'm speaking like just personal experience. Like I hope that I always err on the side of being a little too
Yeah.
faithful, a little too loyal, a little
I
too
think
trusting.
I mean I think that's true. I think I
Yeah.
mentally have to like process through something, but like I do feel like absolutely I'd rather stay a little too long
And I
than quit
think
too
over
soon.
and over again, Jesus, like this one feels like a real external example, but over and over again, Jesus is pointing to the internal. So what is the internal of these words here? And I think it is that commitment. It is that like seeing how your non-commitment impacts the people around you.
Mhm.
Um,
And you go back to that list of 25 because you can look at it surrounding commitment, like, be committed until whatever,
till you get an out.
till you get an out, or be committed until it's not really deserved anymore. Be committed until it feels like it's hurting you. And
I would also say like one of the most damaging things in a relationship is when somebody is looking for the out.
yeah,
Like, is that really? I'm just like, is that really commitment? Like, if you're at a job and you're like, I'm just waiting for them to do this thing, so
Yeah.
I'm justified to quit.
Yep.
Yeah.
Like, is that really? I don't know if that's commitment. But people, I have friends who have lived their faith in that way of like always trying to find the gotcha moment so that they can find a way out. Or people are part of a church or in a marriage.
Yeah,
being
that's what I was
just
gonna
waiting
say.
for this to happen so that I'm justified.
Or they stay in a marriage. Like that's one thing like I feel like I've seen a lot where you stay in a marriage because you know it's the right thing to do, but you don't actually work to fix a broken marriage.
Yeah.
And you're basically roommates living together and not talking. And I'm like, is that any I mean, I don't know, maybe it is better, but also
Yeah, I don't know.
like I think that's missing.
Yeah.
Oh, what did I say?
No, it's not you.
Okay. But just
Facial subtitles.
Sorry, I got distracted. But yeah, like how do you in this loyalty, in commitment, in faithfulness, like looking at our relationship with God and having it matter instead of just being committed because it's the right thing to do. What does it look like to have it matter in my life and have impact in my life and not just be lip service, but actually how I live, But Ty is gonna say something.
Thinking about this idea of like permissible and beneficial. There's this saying that I heard regarding, I don't remember what it was, but I use it a lot in athletics training when working with because I still do some acrobatics coaching on the side. And it's everything you want is on the other side of hard.
Yeah.
And looking through that list of things that are permissible, beneficial, they're all things that are easy gratification.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to work there might be one or two things I guess I didn't scour the list, but shopping online during downtime, it's easy,
Yeah.
Sleeping on weekends, easy, using filters because they're put right there in front of you.
Mm-hmm.
Instagram makes money off of those sort of things, and they know that those sort of things push the algorithm. So I think relationship and commitment and it's not always fun. It's not always easy.
Yeah.
It hurts. And doing the work to make it good
Yeah.
hurts, or can hurt. And so, but this idea of like when people think about like, they're looking for an out, my life would be so much better if I didn't have to deal with this or that or the
Mhm.
how this person treats me. This when we whatever. Literally looking for that out. It's you're never gonna get to that ideal world if you don't push too hard.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And the internal of resolve to be committed it's almost like committed to a fault, but at least trying to get as close to that as possible is not going to just come by what is culturally appropriate or what is going to be admired or seen by others. The foundation of commitment that is truly, like again, what God is calling us to, is going to come through internal transition and transformation, not by, well, I'll be committed until I have not just internally, but externally, an appreciated by my world's
Mhm.
out.
Yeah.
And because that's what was happening here, is that even though there was debate, what was acceptable, you definitely would gravitate to the world that would make sure that you were acceptable in whatever
Yeah.
you were doing. And Jesus's call is to move from, hey, don't worry what other people see about your commitment. Just be committed.
Yeah. I was just really, before we do Rich's wrap up, I was just thinking how it would feel to like know this debate was going on when you were a woman at that time. Just knowing like how they were debating, deciding whether or not you were disposable, and like just I don't know. That feels like a painful little a little thought. But
Think about the impact internally on them.
yeah. So. Should I sing it? It feels like a little awkward to sing.
Nice.
Just wrap up.
There it is.
There it is.
I just think you said this is the thing that's been running through my head, and you said being committed to a marriage but not actually doing anything about it just because we're married,
Yeah.
so we're committed. I think that in the greater picture of internal change and what is being taught throughout all the Sermon on the Mount by Scripture and everything, that's not commitment.
Yeah.
When you have commitment to that thing and the internal change, then there's then you start to not marginalize. You start to care. You start to love. And you're not looking for the out. You're looking for the fix.
Yeah.
And not like the fix meaning like this is the one thing that'll fix it, but going, what's the next step to make things good again? And that's, I think the commitment is to the good thing, not to the paper or the thing itself.
Yeah.
So that's the going through and like getting to the conclusion here where what are some internal changes that help us not marginalize people. I think for a first part of that is we gotta redefine what it means to be committed.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
what I got.
That's good.
See you guys next week.
Later.